the actions of the Department of Health in compiling dossiers and information about children with disabilities was vile and it was obscene. I think it is very unfortunate, and I'm being mild about that the Minister for Health isn't here. The Minister for Education isn't here. Minister of State Rabbitte has said that she wasn't aware of this practice. I would like clarification as to whether the Minister for Health, the current Minister for Health, was made aware of this practice, or whether the Minister of State is aware of any previous Minister of Health being aware of this practice. And if it's a case that all say that they weren't, then there are fundamental questions that need to be answered as to how, in the name of hell, that could happen. How could a practice that crosses so much elements of government carry on whereby ministers aren't aware of it? And I'd ask the Minister, do you accept that that goes to the heart of what I will call the state and how it operates? Because we know that if a minister actually signed off on this and it was proven to be the case, that they had said, yes, go ahead, could fulfil that practice, there would be a motion of no confidence before the Dáil, and it's quite likely that before that motion reached the House that they would be asked to fall on their sword for political expediency. And that would be quite proper, I would say. Yet it is fair to say that the one thing we know, that by the end of this process there will not be one single civil servant made accountable for their actions in relation to this despicable action. And that has to be asked. Why is that the case? We know that the HSE was set up in part by Micheál Martin in order to allow political responsibility to be avoided. It's nothing to do with government. This is a matter for the HSE. Well, this is the Department of Health, and now we're told it's nothing to do with government. It's civil servants. How can it happen? And I'd like to ask you, Minister, will you ensure that somebody is at least named and shamed, and if not, actually made accountable for their actions? And the last question, I want to give you time to answer these. The last question I have to ask, there's lots of talk about compiling, looking at this to see when we can engage with the families. Will you ensure that from today, from this minute, that all of those families that have been affected are contacted, that they're told at the very least, yes, your information was part of this, we'll come back to you with further information? Because that cannot be something that takes a long period of time. I would hazard a guess that that information is in your department right now, and I'd ask that you release it to those families concerned. It's the very least that they should be able to expect.